Yogi, how are you? My name is Crystal Gray, and in this video I'm going to be interviewing one of my really good friends. Her name is Sarah. She became one of my really good friends through my online business and my online community. She joined my Facebook group years ago, and we just really bonded, and she's been doing a lot of my offerings, my 200 hours. She's went on, my retreats to Costa Rica, and just really came into alignment and built a lot of confidence around herself, has grown personally as well as spiritually, and I would love to share this interview with you. Enjoy.
Yay!
Hey.
Hi!
Hi!
Hey, we match. We're wearing like the same color, and then we've got like a black sports bra showing under here. We totally planned that.
How funny. How are you?
Awesome. So why don't you just tell everybody a little bit about you? Where do you live? Stuff like that.
So my name is Sarah. I live in Jacksonville, Florida. I moved here, it was like 2018. I'd actually met you, Crystal, I think it was 2016 or 17 when I first moved to Florida. Found you online and decided going on a retreat. It was completely out of my comfort zone, something I'd never done before with, I think there was at least 30 women, all complete strangers, and I just jumped in and did it. So that was kind of what brought me to you originally.
That's so crazy. That was so long ago.
I know. I've been thinking about it a lot, like how, even though it feels like it was just yesterday, it's been several years.
Yeah. And the connections that were made at that one too, there was like one of our friends from Canada came down, and it was just amazing. One of our friends from Las Vegas came, and then you came all the way from Florida. It was so awesome just to have so many amazing people there to connect. And yeah, that was my first local retreat. I don't even know if that was after my first Costa Rica retreat or if it was before. I don't really remember. But so then after that, I wonder how many years it was after that, then you decided to take my yoga teacher training, and that was 2 weeks in Costa Rica.
Well, what's interesting is before I decided to do that, I actually did your online teacher training. I think that must have been like 2018. And then the following year, I loved it so much, I decided I want to do this in person. I had already been to Costa Rica with you before on just a retreat. And I thought, if this is an opportunity for me to learn in person, I jumped at that chance as well. And I just trusted that it would be wonderful, and it was. And kind of flash forward a little bit, after leaving that retreat, I felt very confident coming home to teach yoga. I even went up to see you in Illinois, and I did some practice teaching there as well. And I felt so comfortable, and then life kind of got in the way. And it steered me away from my path. Mm-hmm. And it was a struggle. I started my own business selling medical products online, became very, very successful at it. I got sick in 2020, and not positive, but I think it was COVID, but I'm pretty sure it was. But it was at the very beginning, before anyone even had heard about it. Mm-hmm. And 2020, I got very, very depressed. And I'm pretty sure it was because I was so sick, and I just didn't know why I had no energy in me to do anything. So I really got really far away from yoga. And while I was very successful with my business, I wasn't happy. I was miserable. And last year, I lost my uncle and my father, and it was a huge slap in the face. Like, Sarah, you know better. You know you need to be in alignment, especially when situations like this happen. You can do this. And so I knew I needed to go back to Costa Rica. I needed to go back with you. I needed to find my voice again. And I did. And I just can't thank you enough for even forgiving me for being absent from you for, several years, and you just having no clue what was going on with me, but trusting that it would be okay when I got there. And I just have to thank you for that.
Well, I'm just going to push these tears out since they're right there rather than trying to hold them in the whole time. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, and I'm glad you felt that way, that you knew, it's like I'm connected with a lot of people, and not just like surface level connections, but very deep connections. And, while I'm connected to a lot of people, it's not that like I have to be talking to them every day or every week or even every year, honestly, but it's like whenever you come back, like it's like, no time has lapsed.
Exactly. And, it was a lot of people have been asking me, haven't you already gone to Costa Rica? Why do you keep going back there? And I have really been sitting with that question. Why? Why do I choose to do this? Why am I going on these retreats? And I think sometimes when people hear the word retreat, they think it's just like a nice little vacation, some self-care, some face masks, some massages. Like they think that's all it is. And maybe that's for some people, that's what they're looking for. But I knew that wasn't for me. And I knew you would create that safe space to let me kind of explore, find my way again. And so what I tell people is, in a way, it's sort of like my church. I grew up with a Jewish father, a Christian mother. I've always been confused about religion, so much so that I studied religion in college, learned even more, became fascinated with all different types of religions. And what was so wonderful about this specific retreat was there was no pressure to feel one way spiritually or another. Again, it was just that safe space, you just gently letting, people share what they believed if they wanted to. There was no pressure. If we were chanting to Ganesh, it wasn't like, oh, you can't do this because you're Christian. It just felt very comfortable, and there was no judgment. And so that's what I've been telling people, even though it's like my church. For other people, it might not be like their church, but that's okay. So yeah, I've really been sitting with that question, and I think it's sort of like my way to get back to my spiritual practice.
And get back to you and to get back into alignment. That's totally like what was just coming in. And you're our resident tarot reader now for all of my retreats. And so Sarah's also signing up for my local retreat. I'm planning to have one of those every year, and they're over Columbus Day weekend, which I like to call it Indigenous Peoples Day weekend, in October. And so Sarah, even though you're not currently teaching yoga, I would love to know, like, was taking that step to take the 200-hour yoga teacher training, even though I make you practice teach and do all of those things, but you're not teaching now. I mean, how has that helped you in your life and on your path?
It's been huge. I think for one thing, it's like I have your voice in my head when it comes to form and proper form and not getting injured. And I turned 40 on Saturday or Sunday.
Your turn.
I will be turning 40. It's right around the corner.
Congrats. Yay.
So thank you. So for me, it's really, really important that I am doing things that aren't dangerous for me, that I'm not hurting myself. Yeah. So everything I learned from taking the YTT with you was so much about form and safety that it has just helped me just in daily life. Even when I joined a local gym, I knew I took everything I knew about yoga and applied it in the gym. Like, listen to your body. Don't pick up that heavier dumbbell just because the girl next to you is. Like, I had to lose that ego.
Yeah.
So it translates into every aspect of life. And again, it's going on that retreat just to be reminded that you don't have to be a yoga teacher, but you can use yoga to guide you through life.
Yes, definitely. So what would you say to anybody who's kind of tossing around working with me, here in the in March, I've got a 200-hour starting. I've got a 500-hour starting. And I haven't really announced it yet. But what I want to do is, you know, one of my main missions is there's so many yoga teacher training programs online right now. And a lot of those people, they feel a lack of community. And they also maybe just, you know, maybe they learned a decent amount about yoga, but not so much about teaching. So something that I really want to offer people is a refresher course. So what I'm going to do is let people, not people who've already in my training, because you guys already have access to everything, but people like you who have gone through my training, you can actually hop on our weekend calls. So I'm excited to offer that. It's going to be $25, but then for people that want this refresher course, like maybe they took a 200-hour, but they took a break or they just don't feel ready, I'm going to take $1,000 off of my 200-hour so that they can go through and do it. And feel part of community, you know, have that community. And that's another reason why I'm doing these satsangs, because I want to stay connected to all of you guys and I want to see your faces and I want everybody to see how empowering and accessible and welcoming our community is. And, you know, you were talking about church, and it's just funny because I don't know if I knew that about like your history with religion, but that's a lot of what I did. I'm like, you know, like all these pieces make sense, but like whenever I started doing yoga, it was like everything came together and it's like, oh, I don't have to necessarily be in a religion. Everything's within me. And that was so amazing, that realization.
So I think for people who are tossing around the idea of taking YTT with you, I would say, sorry, my cat.
He's a cat mom like me. Yes.
He has a lot to say, obviously. That you do a phenomenal job of pushing people to become more confident. It's like you find what it is, or you help them find what it is that's blocking them, that's preventing them from taking that next step that they need to. So for me, it was like I lost my sense of creativity and I lost my confidence in being able to read my cards and trust what they were telling me. And you kind of pushed me a little bit, but gently. You didn't, there was no forcing or anything, but you pushed me gently. And I took the time to do a reading with every woman that was on the retreat with us, and even one of the cooks or one of the chefs, which was great. And I realized as I was doing these readings that just me, after I would do the reading, I would kind of sit back and just let people talk. I would just let them say what they wanted to say. And it was amazing to see how people, oh, sorry, this cat. Harley, hey.
Oh my
come here.
Goodness, buddy.
How, Harley, come here. Yeah, I'm right here. Come say hi. So I was able to like see how you as a leader can create the safe space, but look what I can do. I can do the same thing, even if it's just these tiny, 10-minute conversations. It was amazing to see people open up and share and provide feedback on what I was telling them, and it was wonderful. So I think if people are looking for just that extra little gentle push to get out of their comfort zone or to figure out what it is that's blocking them, like you do a really good job of that. And also, there's one other thing I was going to say about that. With the community. So I was actually messaging with Melly last night, our dream girl, and I realized there are so many connections that I have made, and that even like the Angela in Canada, I was taking a bath this morning and I had her mug in my hand and I picked it up and I realized there was a little saying on the bottom that I'd never noticed before.
Oh.
And it's like, even though Angela isn't here in Florida, she's in Canada, like I still got that little piece of her to remind me of that connection that we made. And I'm noticing coming back from Costa Rica, it's been a little over a month now, that even though I'm not speaking to everybody daily, I'm still finding these little moments that I can share with them or that remind me of them. And so it's like these little magical moments that I don't think would happen in any other way.
Yeah.
So I think if people are looking for that kind of connection in that community, that there's going to be people who are going to back you up and they're going to be there for you, then I think this is a great time to jump at it. Don't stop yourself.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I really appreciate that because, those are the most important things for me, is for people to be supported, because it just makes everything so much easier. And whenever you're surrounded by other, like-minded people, and I use that term broadly because we're very open to all different kinds of beliefs, but there's that level of respect there that no one really knows the answers, right? We're just all
Right.
spirits and the souls in these human bodies doing the best with what we can, with what we have, but really encouraging everyone to find their own internal kind of sense of direction and connection with their higher self, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. I mean, it's like finding my creativity has been really exciting. I've been writing a lot more. I have kind of a rough outline for a book that I want to work on. And I was thinking about your word for the year. I think it was community or connection.
Connection, yeah.
Yeah. And then it was also the same for Laura, who
yes.
from willtowow.com. Yeah. And she was at the first retreat that I went to as well. And so I was thinking, well, what is my word for this year? And I think being gentle and also just trusting the process, but also giving myself the kindness and just being gentle with myself. If I don't, make it to that gym class, or if I don't practice a full yoga flow one day, or if I don't make it to my mat one day, just being gentle and kind and patient with myself and not forcing myself into a really rigid practice.
Yeah.
Because when that happens, I'll back away. Wall comes up, back away. Mm-hmm. So I think, just being gentle and really just trusting that alignment will come if I am very patient with myself and I'm not pushing myself into roles that I don't want to be in. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I've been uncovering a lot about myself, and it's been very good. It's been hard. And, the work certainly doesn't stop after a retreat. It continues. And that's why I'm excited to come up north to Illinois in October, because I know there's still more work I need to do, but there's also more that I need to give. So I'm very, very excited.
Yeah. So do you do tarot readings for people? I know you're going to do them at the retreat, but...
So I do them for my husband all the time. He loves it. I do it for myself daily. I love it. It's honestly, lately, it's kind of been freaking me out how accurate it has been. I literally, the card pulled today was community. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? I already posted it on my story. I'm like, really?
Whoa, that's crazy.
So it's scary, like how accurate it is. And that was the other piece to this tarot card reading was, I had read for one of the ladies on the retreat, my first retreat that I went to with you. And I had totally forgotten I had read for this person. And it wasn't until this recent retreat in Costa Rica, she was also there with us. And I was reading for people, and then we had the sound bath, and it was very healing. And Dusty said, you may have some strange dreams tonight. So if you do, that's okay. Let it happen. And then just maybe journal about it. And I definitely had a strange dream. I remembered, like in my dream, it all came back to me, the reading I had given to this woman. And the reading was basically the Tower card, everything's going to crumble down. And that scared the crap out of me. And I remember how much it scared me when I gave her that reading on that first retreat. And I thought, what have I done? And then I found out what happened on her life's journey. And I'm like, oh, that's even scarier. And then she just was so amazing to give me the opportunity to read for her again. And I was terrified. And it was beautiful. It wasn't scary. Like the cards showed her what they needed to show her. And it was wonderful. And so just the fact that she kind of trusted that to it was such a gift to me. So that was really cool.
Yeah, totally. That story was awesome. And the reading you gave me was awesome. So can people like friend you or message you if they're interested in getting a reading?
Absolutely. So I'm actually going to start reading for some people locally and just in my area.
Yay.
Mainly starting with friends first, just be gentle with myself and patient. But absolutely, people can definitely message me or friend me on Facebook. I'm happy to give readings. Right now, they're only like $10 a reading. It's usually about half an hour. So yeah.
Well, I know that the one you did for me was spot on, and I've had lots of readings from all different kinds of people. So you should definitely feel confident because it was really good. So
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Sarah, for taking the time to chat with me today. I really, really appreciate it. All right. Nice seeing you.
Oh, you too. Love you.
Love you too. Bye.
I hope that you enjoyed that interview as much as I enjoyed giving it. And make sure that you head over to my website if you want more information on my retreats and my yoga teacher trainings. I do offer 200-hour and 500-hour online. My website is crystalgrayyoga.com. And remember, yoga is more than asana. Have a great day. Bye.